No way. No way this came out in 2017. That's a terrible idea. Generic Controlman, that goes me. We're back with another Caddicarus video, and today we're doing the awful world of skateboarding games, which is actually going to be something because I actually grew up playing like the Tony Hawk games way back in the early 2000s. Last week's video was the painful world of Lego games, which I learned a lot about Lego games, and I didn't know they actually made as many as they did. You can check out my reaction to that video. I'll leave it right up there. Also, be linked down below in the description. Also, in a place on my channel with all my other Caddicarus videos. Go in a chronological order if you want to binge watch through all of them. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and hopefully I can make it just tiny a little bit better. I do read all your comments, at least from down below. And also, interesting idea. I might be finishing Devil May Cry 5 this upcoming Saturday, and then after that, I'm trying to think of a new franchise. And I was recently gifted the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy on Xbox. So maybe Crash Bandicoot's going to be the next Saturday streams. I don't really know, but shout out to the patrons because they get all the videos a day early, and I could not do this if it was not for them. $3 a month gets you all my reaction videos a day early, and it's unbelievable the support that these videos have been getting, which I've been enjoying them so much. They're getting longer every single time. They're a little bit longer than the last one, but I'm not complaining because Caddicarus videos are just that enjoyable. But let's go ahead and jump into the awful world of skateboarding games. All right.
Oh God, I really hope I don't turn into a limited edition collectible vinyl figure.
Nice.
Oh great, what am I supposed to do now?
Today's video is sponsored by me.
We're
in
sponsored.
plastic form.
This isn't even my final form.
Do you want to get yourself a limited edition me?
I do.
You've
Also,
already got
shout
one.
out to the people watching this video on
And then all you need to do is head to the description
Saturday?
right now,
Yeah.
where I'm currently running a competition with you twos to give away 3 of these amazing figures that will be signed by me.
But the real
That's
life
cool.
me, not the plastic me.
All you have to do to enter is follow the link below and do any one of these 3 things to give yourself one new
what does he
entry
have
into
in
the
his
competition.
hand?
Or you can do all 3 for an extra 2 entries.
Oh boy, I love entries.
If you don't win this competition, though, don't
Is he-
freak out and
is he
turn
holding,
your house
like,
down, because on the 2nd of
drumsticks?
October
Yeah.
at 12 PM PST,
I think I
or
missed
8
it.
PM British time, this adorable little monster will be available to the public for purchase.
Is
You gotta
British
be quick
time-
though, because they're limited, and if you're not careful, I'll buy all of them.
Is British time like what that's actually called? The time zone? Also, there's only one time zone in Britain because Britain's small. Bricks?
What? What? I can't hear you.
Oh man, totally ready.
I've never skateboarded in my life. I did grow up playing the Tony Hawk games though in the early 2000s. Sick. Wow. Dude, the tank top as well. Brad's +3. Bricks. The mask.
Come on, why'd you have to do that? Am I the only one that can still see the bricks outside? Like, I'm not going insane, am I? You can see
got
them
married
too,
to them.
right? And you do know that if you jump out at them while wearing a face mask, they get really scared and run away? Why isn't everybody doing this? Well, whatever the case, we may not all be able to go out and skate on
Also,
the streets for fear of
I'm
running
gonna be
into
finishing
another
Devil
load
May
of bricks
Cry
and having
5
a
this
die,
Saturday.
But that's okay, because we've got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 on the PS4. It's the next best thing. And in fact,
The next
I was
franchise
so
might be
excited for the
Crash
launch of this
Bandicoot.
game that I couldn't resist.
Insane
I had to
trilogy.
get the collector's edition with the limited edition Birdhouse deck.
And oh boy, what a game it is. This is far from my favorite Tony Hawk game of all time in terms of gameplay.
Trying to see if I
and
recognize
soundtrack,
anything.
But it's so cool to see a HD 60 frames per second remake of 2 PS1 classics that give you so much more than just a simple remastering. You can manual and ramp revert in all the games to keep combos going. You can wall
trying
ride,
to
you
see-
can wall plant, you can do ridiculous special tricks, you can spine
There's this
and
one
hip
map with, like,
transfer.
an
This is
airplane that I
essentially
remember.
a modern Tony Hawk game with everything included from the older ones, thrown into the mission-based gameplay style and level design of the original 2 Pro Skaters. And honestly, even though I'm not a fan of the frustratingly minuscule 2-minute time limit every time you just want to play, this is the
really?
best Tony Hawk game in my opinion for years. And you want to know why? Because you can turn yourself into Tom Thumb. And if that's too
Oh,
small
that's
for
so
you,
small.
don't worry. Because
I
you can also
I think
turn
I remember
yourself
that
into
map.
the BFG.
Ho ho ho.
Green Giant.
Gets hit by a
After putting
bus.
few hours into this little gem, though, it gave me an itch that I haven't felt since the last time I went to the doctors.
I felt like
Oh.
going back through my shelves again and picking up the really old skateboarding games that I used to love as a kid. More specifically, Tony Hawk's Underground 2 Remix on the PSP and Tony Hawk's
Remix.
American Skateland on
I
the
played it
DS.
on, like,
These
the
two
original
games I
Xbox,
put
I
so
think.
many hours into, and were not only the first Tony Hawk games I ever played, but the first skateboarding games I ever played in general that further developed my my love for skateboarding as a sport. See
Oh,
this
does it
photo?
just-
This
oh.
is the youngest photo of teenage me that exists on the internet, and What's that at the end of my arms?
A skateboard.
Why, yes. It's my hands.
You heard me right. You're talking to an ex-skater here. So after I played these two
He
games
was a skater
here,
boy.
I gathered up all the money I could.
Screws.
Can
Okay.
I pay you in screws? And then bought all of the skating games I could in order for me to make yet another ridiculously long video that will drive me to drink. But hey, I didn't want to start this marathon video off negatively if I'm talking about one of my favourite ex-pastimes, so I figured we could start the video nice and light with the impetus.
Like, I've never
the
even ridden a
beginning,
skateboard.
The first.
Even though I grew
the
up playing
inspiration for every single console
skateboarding
skateboarding
games.
game that would be released after this one. Oh yeah, I'm going there, everybody. Back to the original. So I hope you're ready to sit down and play some skateboarding on the Atari 2600.
What? Is that the first?
Skateboarding.
Has to be.
Yes,
Toys
believe it
R
or
Us, by
not,
the way.
for home consoles at least, this is where it all started.
Look at that outfit.
Skateboarding. And let's
Look at
not
that
ignore it
haircut.
any longer.
Look at those
This
glasses.
box art here deserves to be preserved in a crystal cabinet in the National Gallery. The logo, the ghastly outfit, the Toys R Us sticker, the abrasive color scheme, and that face. That disease of a face. The face of a man who isn't only hungry for radical kickflips, but also
Why does he just have a
mum's
triangle?
thighs. I don't think I can wait any longer, so say it with me, everybody.
Ugh.
3, 2, 1, go!
Yep.
So yeah, this is skateboarding, everyone. This silent, terrifying vacuum is skateboarding.
How is that
on the
skateboarding?
Atari
When do you ride the
2600.
skateboard?
No sound, no music, no anything. Absolute entertainment. That's a bold claim. This was the peak of entertainment, was it? I can't quite say I'm absolutely entertained by staring at a little pink horse jockey, wondering if he's holding a skateboard or a giant hot dog. Okay, I need
It
to be
does
fair.
kinda look
This
like a
game
hot
was
dog.
made in 1987 for the Atari 2600. This was the very first home console skateboarding
Sidney
game
Crosby
of all
age.
time. Not counting arcade games and home computer games, of course. So I need to judge this as a game of its time. Even though I'm walking around in silence around a ghost town while this clock counts down to when
Why
my
is there a
heart stops
clock?
to put this freak out of his misery.
There's not that much skating going on, though, is there? So what do you
Why
actually
not?
do?
This.
I have no idea, but this is Atari, and it's got a joystick and one button.
What does the button
we haven't
do?
really got much choice, do we? So let's press the button and see what
Do
happens.
you actually skate?
Ah!
Hey,
ooh,
whoa,
look,
okay.
Look, everyone, we're off! Look at me go! And listen to these
Whoa.
sick beats!
It's so sharp.
Yeah, I'm
That would be
getting into
muted
this
so
now.
fast.
I feel like a kid again. I'm a skateboarding maestro. Nothing can stop me now!
Pipe.
Oh, the music stopped. Well, that was deflating.
Let's go around
Since
it.
we already look like a horse jockey, you know what they say about them? If they fall off the horse, what do? Get straight back on.
Can you actually, like, go off the
Anyway,
ramp?
I think I should take a look around and get a bearing on my surroundings. What's this here?
The void,
What are
apparently.
you up to down there? Oh, well, whatever it was,
fine.
he came out the other end with a tight grip on that hot dog. So you may be looking at this and wondering,
Heyo.
what the hell am I looking at? And to be honest, I'm with you there. I have no clue what's going
Actually
on.
pretty
This
good.
was the era of games just kind of dropping you into the thick of it without so much as a cookie.
I'm in
and
the
expecting
thick
you
of
to
it.
know exactly what it's trying to tell you. I mean, I know we can skate, I know we can crash, and I know that this indescribable thing is unable to be
Are you-
skated
do you
on,
go-
but we can also
wait,
phase
so you
through
can't
the
go
trees,
through
no
it or
issue at
on
all,
it?
So your guess is as good as mine when it comes to what's going on. Oh, that's a ramp? I thought they were
Stairs.
stairs. I guess this was before straight diagonal lines were invented. Well,
Yeah.
whatever. We've got an objective now. Find all 30 ramps and jump off of them.
Wait, what?
Occasionally crouching down, looking
30?
like you're propelling yourself with your own gas. So, yeah, this is the whole game. Find ramps, jump off of them. And don't worry about the trucks, they can't hurt you. You've got ginger
Wait, really?
hair, they don't stand a chance. But the best thing about this is undoubtedly the music.
That's the counter
Purely
up
because
top.
the game is silent for every other moment, aside from when you jump on your skateboard. And that tune, my god, you cannot help but love it.
It's very, very
Just
staticky.
listen to how jolly it is. This is up there with Super Mario Galaxy for greatest soundtrack in gaming history.
That's a take.
Oh.
Oh, well, now it's over.
And even better,
His
you don't
neck.
only have free control on when this bouncy little sea shanty starts, but whenever you bail and then start skating again, you reset the tune to the very beginning.
Oh, okay.
Every single time.
Oh!
Okay,
Oh!
I'll do it all right. I'm sorry. Tony, Tony, where are you?
Tony Hawk,
Okay,
please.
I'm gonna stop teasing you. Here we go. This
Bob
was the game I was
Burnquist.
talking about. The PS1 heavyweight that actually
Burnquist.
started a million new skating game trends and spawned 1,000 poor man imitators. Tony Hawk's Skateboarding. Okay, it's not as
don't think
catchy
I've
as
played
Pro
this
Skater,
one.
but did you know that proskater is a curse word in the UK? Yeah?
No,
It's
it
true.
isn't.
It's very bad to say. So when this game came out in the UK, they changed the name of it. And if you don't like that,
What?
then you can suck my proskater. Now this was the one you were waiting for me to talk about, wasn't
don't
it?
know.
The good stuff, the original, the classic, the start of extreme sports games being so good that
Tony
everyone will
Hawk
try
talking
copying
about
it for years
these?
to come. The slow, the clunky, the lumpy, the not quite as good as your nostalgia would have you think. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. There is absolutely no point going back to Pro Skater 1, in my opinion, unless you survive off of disappointment. Don't get me wrong, this game is a classic. Make no mistake. It planted
I'm not
every
sure if this is
seed
the
it
one that I
needed
played.
to
I have
with the
very
creative
few
level
memories
design
of
that
it,
took everyday
'cause I was
locations
very
and
young.
turned them into skateboard theme parks, and popularized the addictive gameplay loop of performing tricks while exploring to earn VHS tapes and unlock more levels. But there's so
VHS
much
tapes.
not here, especially if you like the later Tony Hawk games. You can't manual to link tricks together on flat surfaces. You can't revert after landing from ramps. The level selection is pretty small, as are the levels themselves, and take around 3 attempts at maximum to finish. The controls
Ooh.
feel a little on the heavy side, especially with getting air off of ramps.
But it was
you
old.
can't wall ride or wall plant for more combo and level design potential, and it doesn't matter how hard you try or how good you smell, it's so easy to not land properly or outright clip through the obstacles.
But that's a problem.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater is Crash Bandicoot 1. It's fine for what it is and
Next
amazing
franchise?
at the time compared to the
What do y'all think?
competition.
I read all your
But
comments.
Nah, nowadays it feels like a bathroom trip after
It'd be-
Mexican night.
It would be a Saturday stream. Like every Saturday
Pro
stream.
Skater 2.
This is where, in my opinion, the legend
Now,
was
this one does
truly
look very
born.
familiar.
Pro Skater 2 put the dev team Neversoft on the map.
Yeah,
because at
I
this point,
remember that.
They gave up on realism and stopped making you feel like you were skateboarding on a recycling bin. It doesn't work. This was the beginning of creating your own
Yep,
skater,
I remember.
and you could call him Criff, who lives in the sink and is 5 years old. He also looks like this, but don't laugh at him. Criff is shy. This
think
is
I
where
definitely
you could
played
begin
this
to
one.
use stat points that you earned in
Whoa.
the campaign to max out all of your abilities.
remember
and your
that.
balance sensitivity. This was where you could edit and customize your tricks. You could create and edit your own
I do remember that.
bloody parks. And how about the levels? There were more of them. They had a dump load more to do and far more.
Yep,
secrets
and
to
you got
see
the money.
environmental
Yep,
pieces to
I played-
completely
there was the
destroy
plain
your
one.
sickness.
Yep,
They came
to
with
open
cash
the door.
prizes that you could spend in the shop for more customization options. You could be hit by trains.
I like
But more
trains.
importantly, there were more tricks, which not only meant crazier scores, but way more ways to link them together with the ability to manual on the street and wall ride across vertical surfaces. And then there were the cheats. Oh lord, the
Oh,
cheats.
what?
You can believe you can fly, you can become a big boy, you can escape the game, you can go on the Atkins
Oh, this is
diet.
fine.
But easily the coolest part,
Is this like cheat
you
codes?
could be Spider-Man.
What?
Spider-Man.
Wait, what?
Why did I
The judges
never
only
be
gave
Spider-Man?
me 99.9? What do you mean 99.9? Did you
literally
see what I just
flew.
did? That's not enough for a full score? At least give me a chicken nugget.
Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still not a fan of the 2-minute time limit for the career mode. You could argue that it's arcadey and challenging, but I argue it's restrictive, stressful, and doesn't
Man,
let
it's
you fully
stressful.
take in or explore the brilliant level design.
Which they're gonna fix the next
and if you
game.
just so happen to agree with me on that,
Which you should.
then don't worry, because the Tony Hawk series eventually did get rid of it. They kept on being made, they kept on improving, nobody could stop them. Not even my mum.
How often did
And
they
she could
come
stop
out
a
with new
freight
ones?
train by frowning at it.
There was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 that introduced ramp reverts to further keep your combos going after you got major air.
I
There are
believe
hidden
I
flips
played
and
this
grabs
one
you
as
can pull off
well.
by double tapping buttons, and you can be a Star Wars. There was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, which ditches the time limit for career mode and turns every level into a free roaming affair, along with the new ability to spine and hip transfer.
Not sure
over
if I
ramps,
played this
skips
one.
on the back of cars to pick up speed, double tap buttons while you're grinding and manualing to change the move that you're doing during the current grind or manual to add more to your combo
What
score.
was that
and you
move?
could be a Star Wars. There was Tony Hawk's Underpants. There was Tony Hawk's Underground that
I think
gives you
I
an entertaining
might have
story
done
mode
this
where you
one.
start from the bottom in a tacky dump neighborhood and rise to the top as you work with skateboarding pros who star as themselves.
Oh, my knee.
Oh my!
The cover
knee.
looks familiar.
You can dismount your board to get around tighter level design a little easier. You can level up naturally as you skate around and unintentionally complete hidden challenges related to the types of tricks that you do. You can bounce off of the walls with a wall plant. You can spam flip buttons like crazy to do more than triple flips to your flip tricks. You can spam buttons to recover from bailing faster, and you can also do this. That's the thing you can do, isn't it? There was Tony Hawk's
Rudder
Underground
view.
2. And it's the best game ever made. But you could also Nata spin on the top of small pillars, or is it Nature spin or Nata spin? I don't know. You can
I
spray on the
don't
walls
know
of a
what
bad
that
boy, but I mean
is.
spray with graffiti and not with Wii. Tony Hawk looks like an eggplant, and if you bail from a trick, you can tap buttons really fast and then break your board in half, which does absolutely nothing but waste your time. There was Tony Hawk's
well.
American...
American Wasteland?
Jesus! There was Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, which is basically the same as all the other games, but felt much smoother and faster. Gives you much bigger
Yeah,
levels
this is
that are
past
interconnected
me.
with their own day and night cycle without any loading screens. There's a story mode that allows you to build your own park from scratch, and in my favorite feature, you can even ride a stunt BMX whenever you want to. How cool is that?
What?
I also had a major crush on this girl when I was a teenager, but she's not real, so it didn't work out. There was Tony
Nah,
Hawk's
well,
Project 8, and
understandable.
I'm not really sure what they were eating when they made this. This whole thing here, this is just completely unnecessary. Also, Tony Hawk looks ill. Is he doing okay? Oh, hey there,
I think he's doing fine now.
You aren't looking too good either.
It was like Fallout, like.
And then there was
New
Tony
Vegas,
Hawk's Proving Ground that
almost.
makes the balance meter take up the whole screen, and it is really ugly. It runs like trash. Tony Hawk's Proving Ground.
And that
Dude,
concludes
Tony Hawk
my
made so
thoughts
much
on the
money from
mainline
these games.
Tony Hawk games, specifically in the Neversoft era, which most people consider the
Neversoft.
only true era. And if you want to know my favourite one, I would have to go with American Wasteland, but closely followed in joint second place by Pro Skater 4 and Underground. And so, after Proving Ground came out, I suppose Neversoft couldn't prove to anybody that they should keep making Tony Hawk games, and immediately after they left,
Does
they were
Neversoft
taken over by
oh,
a new
well.
team known as Robo-Modo, and they were going to take the
What a
Hawk
name.
to new heights.
Were they?
And then that same Hawk did a dive bomb into the sea and drowned because the end of their era came to a halt with Tony Hawk's
On
Pro
PS4?
Skater 5.
Released in 2015 for the PS4 and Xbox One, Pro
What?
Skater 5 came out to a fanfare of... Everybody hated this game when it launched,
2015?
including me. For a game labeling itself as the 5th mainline entry after the fantastic Pro Skater 4 and the 17th Tony Hawk game in general, this honestly felt like a joke.
Ooh.
And there are plenty of videos on the subject demonstrating exactly why that is. And the thing is, without playing it yourself, when you just see the game in motion, sure, it's not groundbreaking or anything, but it doesn't look like worst game of the year material, and that's why I ended up buying it, because it looks
And-
completely okay.
and how does
In
it
fact,
feel?
when you play it, it even functions, dare I say. I thought everybody was exaggerating and jumping on the hate train 5 years ago, but after only a few minutes, you'd quickly understand
This
where
wasn't the
everybody
last
was
one they
coming
did,
from.
right?
Well, I say quickly, but you still have to wait for the
Why
8
is there fire?
gigabyte patch to download.
Ugh.
What's that? You don't care about the
I mean, it's
online
not
or
terrible.
network features and just want to start the game as it is without the patch? Okay, that's cool. That's
Game's
fair.
unplayable.
Well, how do you feel about missing a massive chunk of the game that was supposed to be included at the start?
DC?
but then had
I used to
be
wear
added in
DCs.
With this patch. This is awful enough right out of the gate, but to put this in perspective,
Why is his
Pro
head big?
Skater 5's file size itself is around 4 gigabytes, meaning that the 8 gigabyte patch to fix the issues the game had
Was just
200%
added
bigger
content.
than the game itself. That's the same as going to the hospital because your wang is too big, but then having the problem sorted by being given another one triple the size of the last one.
Well, I mean, I'm not complaining. It's not a problem for me.
So okay, maybe the
Stutter.
12 gigabytes total of game here is only because Pro Skater 5
It's
is
still in
stuffed with
2015?
content,
I mean-
and it's probably graphically insane compared to every other
No.
game in the series. Actually, no, there's absolutely nothing in this game, and it looks as pretty as a carnivorous plant. You'd never believe it, but Pro Skater 5 takes nearly
Ugh.
every element that was tweaked and improved over the previous 16 years of Tony Hawk
That's
games,
crazy.
and just
I'm old.
completely gets rid of it. Creator Skater, gone. A large number of levels, gone. Varied and level-specific missions, gone. Pedestrians, gone. Large explorative levels with plenty of secrets, gone. A huge number of real-life impossible tricks to customize, gone.
You know when you're
Oh,
describing
well,
people
cool.
that are miserable all the time and you call them a fun sponge?
No,
That's
I've
what
never
this game is. It's a
uttered those
fun
words
sponge.
before. Ever.
Actually, that doesn't make any sense because if you're a fun sponge, that means you're sucking up all the fun, which means that you're full of fun. So I guess that means you're a
Unfun sponge?
fun raincoat.
Nice.
There's no fun in here.
Oh, and the physics, the 12 gigabytes
What?
total worth of physics, they're not just gone. They left forever and don't even pay me child maintenance. In fact, 5
Child
years
maintenance?
ago,
Is that what
I
they
did
call
an
child
entire
support
video
in
about
Britain?
the broken ineptitude this game seeps with.
Meh.
Which would be the tiniest
What
bit more
engine is this
forgivable
running?
if the patch actually fixed the physics, and this wasn't a PS4 game that barely looked beyond the Pro Skater games on the PS2 and Xbox. Even the mission markers don't work. The mission markers! Because the only way you can activate them is by standing still after you find them.
What?
Which in itself is pointless because you can just go to
And
the
a game
pause
about
menu and
moving?
select them from there anyway. There's also this mechanic they added in. I don't know what it's called, but I'm going to call it the Pissy Plummet because that's all it does. It just pisses all over the combo score and ruins any run you're in the middle of. For some baffling reason,
Huh?
Robomodo decided to add in this feature where by pressing a button, you slam down towards the floor at tremendous force, which
And
isn't the
does
worst idea on
what?
paper, but when they made the button that activates it the same exact exact button as the grind, you'll quickly understand how irritating
that's
this
a
is. You'll
terrible
want to grind,
idea.
but instead just flop into the concrete at 1,000,000 miles an hour, or you'll slam directly into the rails you try to grind on. Meaning that stuff like this happens all the time.
And you get stuck.
Taking away all of that, though, as a game itself and a PS4 mainline Tony Hawk game, it's one of the most dreary and stripped-back games I've ever played. Every single mission is
Why
copied and
could they
pasted
not
on
get it to
every level.
work?
There's no sense of humor, no character, no atmosphere, no dialogue, nothing.
Dude,
Get the balls out of this bowl.
how in
get
the
balls out of
world
this
is
bowl. Smash
the
these
button the
things
same
here for
for
no
the
reason at all, and smash these
grind?
things here for no reason at all.
That's just like
Race
a
through these rings here,
major
and race
oversight.
through these rings here. I mean, I like these mission ideas individually, but to just reuse them over and over again with no bells or whistles in soulless levels over and over again on a PS4 Tony Hawk game is just sad to me.
So what do you do if you're a skater and you want to play a skateboarding game, but you've had enough of Tony Hawk?
No such thing.
I don't know.
You play another game and get another random guy in it, like with MTV Sports Skateboarding featuring Andy McDonald.
Finally,
Who?
two of my favorite things together. MTV
They have the
and
ratings
Andy McDonald
on the
had a farm. How does a 540 Benihana into a one-footed Smith
What
grind
in the
sound?
world?
High in cholesterol.
And if you
Yes.
don't know who Old McDonald is, don't worry, because
true.
there's 14 other
Rob
pro
Dyrdek.
skaters to choose from, like Colin McKay, Rick Howard, Heidi Fitzgerald, and Rob Dyrdek. Dark Black. Well, that's kind of
Whoa.
redundant, isn't it? I mean, you can't get
Dark
light
black.
black, can you? What's my name?
Be gray.
Imps. But as we will soon see, you can even
Okay.
pick between a load of
The
original
imps?
characters for the story mode, like Jason Case, Steve Seagull, and David Wastebasket. And then you've got
That's
my
not
personal
his name.
favorite, Anna Graham, who left her dinner on her face.
Why is
So
her
I'm gonna
face
pick
like
Wendy
that?
Jones for the good balanced stats, and away we go. Whoa!
Who are
Hey
you?
there, lady. I think you should go to the doctors. You've got a nasty-looking CD growth on your chest. Okay, so this
Yeah.
game may be taking the same ideas as Tony Hawk, but I would say it was only in the naming. Andy McDonald feels like it keeps nearly everything the same as a Tony Hawk game, yet adds in new methods of inputting tricks to avoid copyright infringement. So, like, instead of holding
What?
a direction button
Yeah,
down,
would that be
and then press an
copyright by the
action button
moves?
to activate a grab, flip, or a grind, you hold the action button down first and then press a direction to perform the trick, which wouldn't be too bad aside from the fact that this control delay is shocking.
Not even kidding, check this out.
Oh.
It's basically a Tony Hawk
Oh,
ripoff that moves at
no.
the speed of an oil extraction. By the time the game even registers a trick, you've already flopped on the floor and died.
How was Landman, by the way? I haven't seen a lot of clips of
Gotta say,
it.
though, the booing is a
Looks
little
good.
unnecessary, especially when most of the time I go straight up a ramp and the game bails me for absolutely no reason. Why are you booing me? I went up in a straight line and Andy McDonald pushed me off my board. Are you booing me or the game? No big surprise here, but I did
you,
end up
I
failing.
think, right?
And then I got this timeless bit of advice.
Just-
You should try staying on the skateboard. And just
Really?
for that sentence, I'm quitting the game forever. Bye-bye, Andy McDonald. Old McDonald had a farm. What do you mean he had a farm? Where did it go?
That's a valid question. Where did it go?
Oh, what? Was that not mad enough for you? Then you should try out Skateboard Madness on the PS2.
Let's say
Truly,
extreme.
this is a game for only
Extreme
the
edition.
most mentally deranged of skateboarders. I mean, look at the madness going on here. Who is this man, and why is he tickling underneath his skateboard?
Well, hold up. Wait a minute.
And if there are any
That finger
astute
position.
viewers of
AO.
mine that have been around for many years, I'm sure that there's a logo on the box here that you recognize.
Phoenix?
For those of you who
Like,
don't know, if you see
the
this
city?
logo on any PS2 game, you run for the hills.
Why?
You know how the Angry Video Game Nerd has his arch nemesis in LJN when it comes to
Great dude, by
atrocious
the way.
game companies? Well, Phoenix Games are my
I've reacted to, like,
personal
2 of his
LJN,
videos.
and they have released some stonkers in the past, let me tell you.
And
From
spoken to
Son
him.
of the Lion King to Dalmatians
Great
3,
dude.
all the way to Snow White and the 7 Clever Boys. They also made a game that didn't upset any minorities at all, and it was called Packing. And then they made Skateboard Madness. So let's check
Why?
out what I'm getting myself into. My name is Let Me Out, and my character has no name. That's a bit ominous. So I guess I'll just have to make them up myself. Should I be Jonathan, 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 or Black Jonathan? I'm not even being insensitive when I say that.
still
They all
Jonathan.
have exactly the same facial and body model. And you know what? I think I'll pick Jonathan. Let's kick things off nice and
bold
easily with a
choice.
simple ollie. This bodes well. I just played a game with a jetpack mode, and even then, that game has more physics than this. What happens if you run into a rail?
Well, I'm gonna
What happens if you jump
FaceTime.
on a rail? What happens if you jump up and try to do a 180 spin? What happens if you try to jump up a flight of stairs?
Nothing.
What happens if you run dead straight into a wall? What happens if you go up a ramp? I mean,
you
I
don't.
suppose this does have its benefits sometimes, like when there's a big concrete bridge in your way. Don't worry, because Jonathan
float.
can go straight through it. The
That's
issue
fine,
is that
yeah.
he can't do anything else. I have tried desperately to find more tricks than a heel flip and a kick flip, but I cannot for the life of me find any.
How does
On the
a
other
game
hand, though, I
have
guess that
these
doesn't even matter,
issues?
because in a timed score counting match, landing kick flips doesn't even count towards giving you any points. Oh, well, sometimes it does. Oh, and sometimes the game will say that you did 3 kick flips one after the other when you weren't even doing anything.
Yeah.
At least you weren't lying about this being mad. I will personally ship myself over to your
Were
house
there
and
any
give you a
playtesting?
kiss if you can perform any tricks here and understand why they worked or how to do them again. Whenever I tap the grab
Somebody
button,
probably did
I
that,
hold
though.
onto my board. Whenever I hold the grab button, I merely tap my board. Occasionally, when I take a jump off of a quarter pipe, I won't stop spinning around in midair, even though I'm not touching any directional buttons. And
What?
the amount of times
Is it
that I
an
go
angle
up a
thing?
ramp only to just smack down off my board for no reason is almost comical. Then
How are
learn
you
that
supposed to
paid
land
money
it
for
then?
this, and it's not funny anymore. I even tested the physics engine out by simply jumping off of a ramp, not touching anything, and coming back down. See you later! This isn't a joke.
what?
Look! Come on, Jonathan, you hateful shrew! How useless could you possibly be? Don't make
Also,
me
who
get
put stuff
another
there?
Jonathan out! The only good thing I can point out with this game
Pajama
is the fact that
Sam,
whenever
number,
you
like,
fail,
8.
Jonathan doesn't ragdoll or anything. He just turns stone dead and gives up, wondering
No,
how he got into this
I
mess.
feel
and by
that.
the way, guess what year this game came out?
No
Yes,
way.
I didn't make a typo.
No way this came out in
Actually, I
2017.
did. That is when this game
Okay.
came out. 2007.
Okay.
The year of Mass Effect, The Darkness, Uncharted, BioShock, and
I played
Skateboard
BioShock.
Madness, The Wrath
Streamed
of
it. It was a lot of fun.
Jonathan. Also, Pro Skater 2 very nearly nailed everything we all
Yes.
love in good skateboarding games, and that came out
Yes.
7 years before
I remember that
this.
map.
What is this game? I mean, the title
that
is
big-
accurate. This is nothing but
big
total
ramp,
lunacy. But
and
how
the
were
other room
Phoenix
had
Games
the
allowed
helicopter.
to license these?
Pretty
Did
sure.
Sony not even look at what they put that sticker on? Every Phoenix game I've touched so far has been the worst thing I've ever seen. And it's not like Sony were making a high profit margin off of them. They were bargain bin trash to begin with. Look, how did I land that? Extreme Edition. What does that even mean? Is there a moderate edition? Is there a version of this
I would
game
take
out
it.
there that's worse than this one? Huh? Tell me,
There
Jonathan!
better not
I
be.
suppose I can only blame myself though, because what was I expecting from Phoenix Games? And they really are a phoenix, because every time you dispose of them, they manage to
Come
crawl
back.
back out of the ashes.
At this point, you're probably so sick of skateboards that you'd rather play a game that gets rid of the wheels entirely.
No, wait, is it... Wait, but the board...
this is shit.
What about
If
the
you
board?
do feel like that, then aren't you
Airblade.
lucky? Because Airblade may just be the game for you.
What?
A forgotten little ditty on the PS2 released
But
in
you just don't have
2001
wheels?
and made by the same people who did the Burnout games.
So,
So as you can see, they're very
Is
good
this
at making
just
games with wheels.
gonna
Which is
be
why in Airblade, you're playing a game that has no
snowboarding
wheels. The
in the
simplest way
air.
I can describe Airblade is to take the time limit mission objective open-ended style of the Tony Hawk series and swap a plank of wood for a hoverboard. Yes, a hoverboard. And as ridiculous as Tony Hawk on a hoverboard sounds, for the most part, I feel like Airblade completely nails what it sets out to do. In fact, dare I say it's a hidden...
how do you make it touch something to make it grind?
Look, it even has a story mode with cutscenes.
What?
This is our main character, Ethan. He sounds like this.
Oscar hijacked the stick? No wonder the suits are so buff.
Also, if they're
because of
holding
that,
it,
I
why is
hate
it not,
it.
like, pulling away from
He
them?
also dresses like a traffic light. So the plot here is that
He
Ethan's
does.
house is being raided by the government because of a strange package that his roommate,
Ordered?
grandpa, friend with benefits received. Nobody knows what it is or
Why are
why
they just
it's so
hitting him?
important, but that obviously means we need to take it immediately without thinking about it and go on the run to become a fugitive.
That was great.
As it turns out, this secret package was
And it's a
actually a
hoverboard.
hoverboard, which Ethan magically knows how to use straight away, and then holy shit, you're able to do basically anything on it within 15 seconds of picking it up. Ethan is
Okay,
my kind of
I'm
guy.
guessing
My
he knew
first
how to
time on a
skateboard
hoverboard
before.
was nothing like this. Like I said earlier, Airblade is basically Tony Hawk in terms of its arcade mission-based structure and time limit, except here, it's way more linear. You get story-based missions that need to be completed one after the other, and completing each one increases
sounds
your
much
total
better.
time limit. To do these missions, it usually means initiating a sequence of tricks around the environment and pedestrians, or sometimes exploring the open-ended levels from top to bottom to find the correct thing to grab
God,
or grind
start a new
across to
franchise.
reach higher
Is
places.
Crash
The story
Bandicoot gonna
mode
be
itself is
linear,
laughably
or-
tiny, and the cutscenes are admittedly
I don't know if it-
awful.
yeah,
but I'll
it should
be
be rather
damned, they This is
linear.
one of the smoothest running and satisfying skating games I've ever played. It takes a while to get the hang of it, but once you do, it feels as natural as breathing, and you're able to do some crazy flippy floppy Kingdom Hearts shit unheard of.
Dude,
in other
those are some
skating
strong
games.
pulls,
Up
by the
here
way.
on the screen is your boost meter, which I suppose you could also say is your fuel. It doesn't stop you
Huh?
from moving if it runs out, don't worry. But this boost meter is needed to not only speed up around the level and give yourself more air up ramps,
That's cool.
but it's also used up by pressing and holding the jump button to give you a small hover and glide depending on how much
Gain
boost you
altitude,
have.
okay.
These two abilities, especially for the timed missions, are vital. So how do you get more boosts? Well, you do more
By do
tricks, of
tricks, yep.
course, and where linking them together during one large mid-air combo spinning around poles and landing on rails is preferable, emergency boost fuel can be given to you by simply hitting the flip trick button. Because I don't know if you noticed, but you float, meaning that you can do unlimited flip tricks without bailing, which is also used for attacking enemies. Airblade is
You
far
can
from
attack
amazing,
people with
but
a
colour me
hoverboard?
impressed because this is the most original arcade skating game I've ever played. It controls fantastically, looks great for a 2001 PS2 game.
Really?
runs
This
as
came out in
smooth as butter,
2001?
and yeah, the music is
It looks
amazing
better than
either, and the
2007
soundtrack sounds
game.
like someone left the kettle on. But I would say this is certainly a diamond in the rough.
But if
The bird just
God
jump into
forbid,
a helicopter
you're offended
blade?
by hoverboards or offended by small game titles, it's okay because you can always play Town and Country Surf Designs Pearl City, Hawaii Wood and Water Rage.
This here is the first
Huh?
NES game I've ever gone out of my way to actually talk about in depth on this channel. And judging by the cover art, I don't think I could have picked a better one.
But I don't know. Despite
I don't even know what's
Country
going
Surf
on
Designs Pearl
in
City,
that
Hawaii
thumbnail,
Wood and Water
or
Rage being the most ridiculous
cover.
name for a game I've ever seen, this could be another Airblade. It could be another hidden gem.
It's
a
not.
secret
It's not gonna be.
masterpiece, A Nintendo classic.
Who's
I
that?
literally just mentioned you.
Oh, that
Is this
was
an
Angry
omen?
Video Game Nerd
If I say
thing.
something bad, will it just appear? Well, if that's the case, gun! Oh, well, thank you very much.
Just
1911,
my
I
luck,
mean-
eh? The first NES game I ever take a look at for this channel, and it's a game made by one of the most infamously bad companies of all time. But surely it can't be any worse than a Phoenix game, could it?
It might be.
You boot up to the title screen, and it's
I mean, I don't hate the colors.
confusing. What is this supposed to be? What's going into it? Is it water? Why is it flying? Why are there trees swimming? What's going on over here? And what's this noise supposed to be?
Waves.
Is that meant to be the
hitting
ocean
the
waves or someone
sand?
shuffling in a chair? We've got 3 separate games to pick here, but this is a skateboarding video, so let's just
Okay.
take a look at that one for now.
At least
Who
have a
do I
two-player
pick then?
option.
The coolest dude in the world, or a potato? Well, okay, this doesn't seem too bad so
Okay,
far.
it looks pretty good.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds okay, controls okay. Was this peeved nerd a little too harsh on LJN in all of his videos? We can move, we can jump off the board to get past this thing here. We can
Take a.
not jump
No,
off the
okay,
ramp.
that's
No
fine.
biggie, we can keep going, and we can even ollie over this clump of barrels a
Can
few
we?
seconds into the stage to...
Fall. Wait,
Oh,
you're supposed to bring the
maybe
board
I
with
pushed
you.
the wrong button. Okay, let's try B.
And we can even ollie over this clump of barrels a few seconds in...
Okay, and you run out of time when you fall.
A and B together?
And we can even ollie over this clump of barrels a few...
He just jumps.
Okay, this game is a massive C word. And what's the word? Well, you know what they say.
What?
You can't say country without tree.
Okay, I get
He's
it now.
right.
This LJN hate?
He's
Totally
right.
justified. Sorry, nerd, I should never have doubted you, my lord. This is just not very nice. The weird thing, though, is that if you look online to see what the hell you're supposed to even do, you can see that...
Wait, other
What is
people able to
this?
do it? A jump?
It's a video. I mean, it's somebody doing an ollie. They
What
can
button
jump
did
over
you
the barrels
do?
without grinding their face into the concrete. But how do you even do that?
It's gonna be some
start
weird
pauses
button.
The game, select is for the menus, which then leaves us with only 2
Is it a
buttons to
button
work with.
combo?
And B makes us push the board faster, while A does the dumbass rocket up to space without the thing that I need to land back onto. You know what? I'm just gonna mash buttons and see what happens. Oh, what was that? I did a grind. I grinded.
How?
Grinded? Ground?
Yes.
Greened? Either way, I figured it out. You have to hold back while pressing A to do an
Why?
allowing
Why?
you to leap over ramps and, of course, those infamous barrels I love so much. So that's it, right? I've got the controls down, so the rest of the game must be a breeze.
No.
No.
So get a load of this
Why is
shit.
there water
What
in
you
his
have
mouth?
here is an auto-scrolling obstacle course, which would be fine to deal with except you have a very tight time limit to reach the end of a stage.
And you get
meaning
extra
you
time
have
for
to rush.
getting
And
items.
rushing in Town and Country Surf Design's Pearl City, Hawaii Wood and Water Rage is a recipe for failure. Look at this, you can't see anything that's flying at you off screen. You can't judge depth and distance when going quickly on this 2D plane. You get respawned on slowing
The
down
depth
surfaces
perception.
right next to ramps, meaning that you then can't speed up enough to clear holes in
And
the floor. This game was
now
clearly
that's
made
an
by a load
oversight.
of lumpy, jiggly nutcases. If you slow down too much to stay careful, you run out of time, but if you go too fast, it's unplayable. So what do you
Because
want
you
me
can't
to
dodge
do, Town
things.
and Country Surf Design's Pearl City,
You're
Hawaii
supposed
Wood and
to-
Water Rage?
Dude,
What's that?
you're supposed to
Want me
win.
try another
Good
game
luck.
on the main menu? Well, then I will.
Let's see what this surfing game is about then. It's awful.
Did
Okay
you
then, how about
drown?
game number 3, Wood and Water Rage? This is what the game itself is named after, so maybe this is the best bit.
Why
Oh,
is
look, it's exactly the same game as the skateboarding one.
Wait, what? Why is it the exact same? What? Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's valid. Wait, those things are mostly empty?
Wood and Water Rage sounds like something you catch when you're pregnant. Okay, I'm done with
Yeah.
all these skateboarding games that aren't endorsed by Tony Hawk, so I think I'm gonna have to crawl back to him with my tail between my legs. If there's any patterns emerging here, it's that if you want a consistently decent skateboarding game,
Tony Hawk.
you go to Tony Hawk. So I suppose it's time to check up on him with Tony Hawk's Down.
On the Wii?
And no, this isn't a terrible recipe for a sandwich.
Why is he using cardboard?
I'm too hungry for waiting for this shit.
It's a Tony Hawk game made as a Wii launch title. Saying that though,
Wii
Tony is
launch
looking
title?
really
Okay.
angry on the box here, almost like he's hungry for some jam of his own. God, it has been years since I booted this thing up. I can't wait to give it a whirl.
You
ready?
Did the board just talk to him?
No!
Weirdly enough, of
Did it just
all
say, "You
people,
ready"?
This game was developed by Toys for Bob. Yes, the Spyro Reignited Toys for Bob.
Never played
the Crash
Spyro.
4 Toys for Bob. The Madagascar
That's
Toys
why I knew
for
that
Bob.
name.
I don't know how you
I
can
played
go from
Madagascar.
Glory the thick hippo to heavy metal skating, but at least they still have the demented clown music. My
Pennywise.
name is Thneep. And since this is a Wii launch title, do you know what that means? Yes, forced motion controls, meaning that you tilt the remote to move left and right. And as
Which
we all
might
know,
not
this
be
won't be a
calibrated
problem at
great.
all because Sonic did that so perfectly.
So what's my verdict on Tony Hawk and the secret rings? It's alright.
Really?
It's unnecessary, but it's alright.
I say it's unnecessary
Tony
because
Hawk,
at the end of the
let's go.
day, tilting a motion controller to steer is less responsive than simply pressing a button.
Correct.
But if you just have to do it this way, like if your wife was tied up in the kitchen of a cannibal and the only thing that could save her was tilting motion-controlled skateboarding, it could have
do
been
it.
done a lot worse. Firstly, this is primarily a racing
What?
game, thank God, so free movement isn't an issue since you're on rails and only need to concentrate on steering. So it's pretty focused
Okay.
at least, and not like this. But trying to take this and move it to forced motion controls and only 2 extra action buttons is really clumsy. Speeding up,
On
ollieing,
the
and grabs
Wii.
are the same button, while flip tricks and grinds are the same button.
Which was
And balancing
underpowered
the
on
grind
release.
is done with tilting, which is exactly what you do for turning your body in mid-air and turning left and right in general, meaning that you'll do a lot of accidental spins and tricks when you're trying to exit a rail that you're already balancing on, just like right there. And you could just ignore doing tricks and focus on the race downhill, but in order to get turbo, which is damn near essential for winning a race, you need to at least try doing a few of these tricks, meaning that I did a lot of whinging. The game
Oh.
looks fine for a Wii launch title, I suppose, except for Tony himself.
But then
He's
I saw
fine.
her bust a few air tricks and my jaw dropped.
Why does he look like
But
the
yeah,
the
I
Apple
can't really say much else about this one
emoji
because
thing?
It's just
Like-
okay. It would have been more fun if it was a
You know what I'm
train wreck,
talking
to be
about?
honest.
Like
You can tell
the
that girl
Bitmoji
works
thing?
out. Although, don't tell her I said that.
Tony, you're 52.
And that's exactly
Wait,
how
was he
old
52
I
back
felt
then?
when I decided to play SpongeBob SquarePants Surf and Skate Road Trip on the Kinect. I'm so sorry, my darling. You know
Like-
that I love you, right?
Why? Why do you love the Kinect?
SpongeBob
Okay, that's fair.
SquarePants Surf and Skate Road Trip is
Peggy,
a
sorry.
game that... You know what? No, I'm not doing this.
Is it a
I'm
game?
not even going to give this game the privilege of an introduction. Here is all the footage of me playing it. It speaks for itself. Screw off.
Just so we're all on the same page and we're understanding
I-
each other, this is the main menu. I wave to let them know that I'm here.
Do you have
That
to do
works.
that?
Welcome to the game. I've not been identified. Okay, that's fine. How about I just select a
I've
No,
never
select a profile.
used
No, select a profile.
Kinect,
No,
like motion
no,
control for
no,
anything.
select a profile.
When I had
No,
the
select
Kinect
a
for my
profile.
Xbox One
Don't
connected because you
cancel,
had to
select a
have it,
No.
I only ever
What are
used
you
to
doing?
like
Why are you following my
commands.
face, like, to
You know,
the
like
side? Why is
Xbox
there a big
record
gap
that.
there? What do you mean stand
Wait a minute.
back? What are you talking
recording this
about?
on an
What,
Xbox
stand
One.
back here? Where do you want me to go?
Stand closer.
Make up your mind.
You may be wondering why I've invited you all here.
No, I'm not. Can we skip this? Every time I go towards story mode, it doesn't want to stay there. So I'm just gonna do quick play. Can this
is
go? To turn left, step your foot to the
convoluted.
side. To turn left, step your foot to the side. To
Okay.
turn left, step
Are
your
you
foot to the
checking
side.
your feet?
To turn left, turn right, step your foot to the side.
Does it mean like step to the
turn
side?
right,
Oh
step
wait, no.
your foot to
Wait, does
the
it actually?
Step your foot to the side.
Aw, stand.
That's the side. I'm stepping in the side. We were this close to passing the calibration screen, everybody. I hate to see what the game is like if I cannot pass the settings. Copy this stunt pose.
Oh, did he do it? Nice.
So we can
Yay!
handle basics. We can handle basic standing still and lifting arms up to do the beginning of the YMCA,
So I like how he
but we
threw
can't do anything
surfboard
else. So why is there a whole
into a
game
skating
built
video?
around everything else that isn't standing still?
So you're gonna talk about like
skateboard, okay?
skateboarding and or not skateboarding, snowboarding and skiing.
Why are you turning left? I'm stepping to the right, you stupid! I don't understand
'Cause
how
connect.
this game works. Why is this a game? This doesn't work. It thinks I'm turning right when I'm stepping left, and when I step right, it turns left. Look. Oh, look. There's me. Hi. Am I enjoying myself? How am I getting all these points?
I like
I'm
how we
not
asked
doing
the
anything.
question.
I'm just trying to steer. I'm
This
just trying
literally
to
looks like
steer.
an
How
arcade
is this-
game. You would see it like a CC's
SpongeBob
Pizza or like a
SquarePants.
Chuck E.
Turn
Cheese's,
right.
which is a restaurant, by the way.
Patrick, turn right.
Let me know if you
Please.
agree or disagree.
Turn right, you stupid lumpy pink thumb. I got a boost. I'm halfway there. I'm halfway there. I've got another. How many more? I've got another 25 seconds of this to do. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
25
I'm not
seconds
doing
is
a
too
1
much.
minute
It's a
long
deal
race.
breaker.
And yes, I know, you're all probably thinking, this is a surfing game, so what's the point of even mentioning it in this video? But the thing is, it isn't. Look, I can confirm from the back of the box that there is indeed
It's not his own
skateboarding in this
gameplay.
game, which is a shame, because I'm never going to see it.
Wait, it's not the lighting conditions are right. It's too dark. How can it be too dark? It's daytime. I have the sun. You can't get much lighter than the sun.
Yeah, I want you to be
SpongeBob
outside
SquareBob.
for a
And I got
Connect.
myself Skate or Die on the NES. Skate or Die.
I think I'll skate. Okay,
I
well.
mean, I've got to be honest, I'm actually liking this title screen. The logo is vibrant and animated, this dude has a fat ass, and this music is happening.
I like it.
I cannot wait to play any longer. Let's jump right in.
Whoa,
Mummy, I
that
don't
hair.
want to play anymore.
I'm a bad boy.
What in
No.
the goddamn Christmas pudding is this? Is this Die Hard 6? I'd appreciate it if you stopped looking at me like that, man. I have a feeling your hair has been inside places I don't want to know about. Have you
That's valid.
Dear boy Lester.
Oh, I bet he's your dear boy. So
Yeah.
What are you staring at?
what am I staring at? What are you staring at? I'm not the one with eggs for eyes.
Don't you like my do?
Well, to be honest, I don't remember the last time I saw a dark blue garden rake, so
For hair,
I think it would be
at
stupid
that.
to go straight into a competition, so let's do some
Okay, it reminds
practice
me of,
first. How about
Delta
a
Rune.
freestyle match? Which is more accurately a vert ramp match, but whatever. Let's drop in and start things off easy with a 180 spin.
And okay.
Are all skateboarding games on the NES deliberately unplayable?
Whatever you do, whatever button
Okay,
you press,
landed that
you
one.
will crash. The only way I racked up points here was just with
Just
rolling
going back and
and
forth.
because if I tried anything else, my bones would fall right off of my body.
And the
no matter
helmet.
how long you lie there on the ground motionless, the audience never come to help you. Did he skate or did he die? Yeah, he died. What about high jump then?
That's
okay,
the
it's
same
the same
thing.
as freestyle, but all
But
you need
you just
to
need
do
to go
now
as
is
high as
mash
possible.
buttons as fast as possible to pick up speed, fly high, have a fit, and then get given the finger. Wonderful. Jam. Oh, what's this one then? So
Same.
here
Oh,
you're
whoa, it's a
skating
different map,
towards
okay.
The bottom of the screen, beating up other kids with your fists and disintegrating whenever you touch a fence. And this would be the
As
best
one
bit
does.
of the game, but the biggest issue here is the control. In order to attack, you need to hold a direction while pressing a button, but using a directional button also turns you, which you don't want to do. And you'd think that you just need to hold left or right to turn, but no, you have to tap the direction multiple times to adjust where you are pointing, just like in real skating. The race itself isn't much better either. You're going downhill and your turning is way too heavy. Am I on a skateboard or a library truck? This is
What is
just
a
upsetting.
library truck?
Help. My head turned into a fanny. Now we're on to the final game, jousting. Jousting? As
On
in
a
stabbing
skateboard?
each other off of a thing that you're
This
supposed
sounds
to be
awesome.
riding, jousting? What the hell is wrong with you? Yeah, 3 kids fighting to the death seems fine
With
to
jousting.
me, but who do I pick to send to hell? Well, I'm pretty sure I saw Lester in a nightmare where he strangled my family, so I think I'll go with the most normal looking guy. Possieur Pete? Is he a skateboarder or a French revolutionary?
Welcome one and all to the jousting arena, where our child combatants will fight for glory inside a big bowl of rice.
Well, it's either that or a hairy old man's head, but whatever the case, this is probably the worst game of the lot. You achingly skate back and forth trying to knock the other kid off his board with a giant cotton bud, and then make him bend over, stick his wiener in his mouth, and then shove the board right up his butt.
What?
Problem here is that no matter what
that.
I do, I can't only never hit the other guy, even when I'm right next to him, but he always manages to steal the bat from me and knock me down right back on my thick old legs whenever he wants to do that.
How does he keep going,
Jesus Christ, this is dreadful.
And so, when you have nearly run out of every ounce of hope you had for a good skateboarding game that isn't from Tony Hawk, you then go back to the familiar franchise that will rarely let you down when it comes to skateboarding.
Yeah,
what?
You know,
Metal Gear Solid
skateboarding series. Metal Gear Solid? After the
Never
original Metal Gear Solid on the PS1 blew everyone away with Solid Snake being the only character in a video game able to pull off a 1080-degree quadruple pop shove it. Here he is, back at it again on the PS2 and pulling off some steezy tricks all up in Arsenal Gear's rectum. Yes, that's what it's called. You are skating on a robot's poo muscle. This is the most incredible, yet most uncanny thing I've ever seen.
Is this the first Metal Gear Solid game
well, this may appear to be a joke or a fan mod on top of an existing skating game. But no, this is an official Metal Gear Solid skating game with its own kick-ass hard rock remix of the theme
This is my first Metal Gear gameplay I've ever seen.
How did this come to be, though? How do we go from a story-driven stealth action game involving social engineering, conspiracies, artificial intelligence,
I plan on streaming them,
censorship, and child exploitation, and end up with Solid Snake doing some gnarly grinds on top of a terrorist base? Well, that's
skateboarding was all the rage.
A bonus feature on the re-release of the original MGS2, known as Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance, but
this is something Dante would do.
Version. It's a great little pack. It comes with the main game, obviously, but also gives you a making-of DVD, more than
DVD. What's a DVD?
VR missions, the chance to replay the main story missions from Snake's perspective instead of Raiden's, and this bloody ridiculous skateboarding minigame built entirely on top of the engine for another Konami game that had just been released, Evolution Skateboarding. I guess they wanted to try advertising this game to me by slipping it into a Metal Gear Solid
rather
skin,
easy to do.
They overdid it, if you ask me, because I've got absolutely no reason to play that one if I've already got this. Look at
That's
it.
true.
Why would
it's
I
the
ever
same
want
thing.
to play the other one?
And while you're at it, look at this.
Disney Sports
skateboarding.
Disney.
Oh boy.
Pretty good impression.
Right, am I going mad, or am I the only one here who thinks this intro music doesn't even remotely fit against what you're seeing? It's almost like taking the characters from a legacy of cartoons in the 1930s doesn't fit in extreme sports culture 70 years later. Do you want your great-granddad to get on a skateboard while dressed up as a clown? Because that's what this is. And in my case, that would be extra bad because my great-granddad is a corpse.
Oh no.
If I had to pick
great-granddad?
through this, I guess I'll have to go
with all mine are gone. And bugger me, does he stand out above the crowd, because the hospital bills this boy must be privy to wouldn't even be able to be paid off by Bill Gates. No exaggeration, if you love falling down and scarring yourself on tarmac, this game is for you, because that's all you do. It's also the same order of cars. It's hard enough just trying to wield the heavy controls here, but even on this first stage, you will get run down by cars more times than a group of badgers in mating season. It's absolutely exhausting. You just crash into cars constantly, and you never see them coming either. Is that actually music? Being run down by people looking to cook up a dead dog into their stew. You're playing one of the worst skateboarding games ever made. If, of course, you're even able to play it at all from how it moves along like a slug in a pot of glue. The controls are so rigid here. Not only because you have to keep topping up your speed by holding forward, which just doesn't feel natural at all, but you can barely get any air from a standard ollie, making grinds and simple kickflips feel like a lottery. Plus, you need to try dealing with these horrific controls while navigating some of the most cramped and unnaturally awkward level design that would be hard enough to platform. Dude, that's hard to even like look at. These are the kinds of controls that run into your granny's dining room and smash all of the china. And if that wasn't enough, this is the most consistently obnoxiously loud game I think I've ever played. Constantly yelling at you with a dude bro surfer voice after you do practically anything. Molly, you grab. Ow. Look out! Heel flip. Good luck.
great starting gate reflexes.
What? Starting gate?
Really cool, straight out of the chute. Skater down, I repeat, skater down.
First
I
8
shout
seconds.
all the time, so if you're able to annoy me, you've ballsed it.
This game has driven me to destruction and carnage, which is lucky for me since I just so happen to own
Thrasher?
Thrasher Skate and Destroy for the
What?
PS1. But what do I pick on the main menu? Options, or Skate. And what character do I want to pick? Scab? Oh god, your parents must have hated you. I'm choosing
called
you based
Scab?
on that name alone. Oh, and I can make you shirtless?
Why?
But then we'll see all of your scabs. What's my name?
no.
Well,
Scab?
you know what? You
Scab
can't
is
improve on
perfect.
perfection.
Exactly.
I'm gonna keep it as Scab. Now, this game is great. Want to know why? Well, first of all, it's because you don't only push your board with the X button and that's all it does, but it's also because each button on the controller corresponds to a different trick. You ollie with square, but kickflip with triangle and 180 spin with circle. Yes, instead of ollieing and spinning yourself around with the D-pad or the shoulder buttons, you press a single button that spins for you. Sound confusing? Well, wait until you get involved with these stages then. Oh boy, this is as barren and basic as you can get. You only need to get the set amount of points and then exit the level. That's it. The problem is though, because something as simple as a kickflip has its own dedicated button, I can't figure out for the life of me how to grind. I just keep pressing any button after I ollie to see if I snap onto a ledge, but
And
nothing works,
maybe
and I
it's
end
an
up
option
turning into an
for
electrocuted
grinding?
crab. Right, can I try that again? Oh
Nope.
no, you're just gonna fall off the board before I even move. Thank you. Why have I put
Hopefully
my
not penalized
trust
for
into
that.
someone called Scab? Oh, and by the way, the levels have their own exit points that you can accidentally just ride into, because there's nothing I love more in a skating game than leaving the level in the middle of a combo. Oh, look at that. That's exactly how I sleep when I'm having a nice dream. And then all of a sudden the
My
game
legs
completely
could
changes
not do
perspectives
that.
to a police
Wait,
officer
what?
with
You can
tasers
chase
chasing me. What? How do I see what I'm doing if the camera is nowhere near me? Where am I? What's the point of this camera
Wait,
angle? I'm
you're
not
still controlling
the
it?
policemen, so what's
What?
going on? Wait, I failed the mission because I lost the cops? Isn't that the entire idea? I'm not looking for an
What?
internship at the police station. I'm a skater boy.
What
who
happens
said,
if you
"See
do get
later,
caught?"
boy." Okay, let's try grinding again.
He
and
made the joke,
I don't know,
the
I'm out of
Avril
ideas.
Lavigne
Should I
joke.
just try pressing the board pushing button?
Oh, look at that, you can.
You're kidding. So let me get this straight. You press the X button to start pushing your board, then hold one of these 3 buttons to ready yourself, let go of the button to do the jump trick, and then press the push button again to grind.
What is it with
I
Tony
mean, it doesn't
Hawk
seem
rip-offs
too
and never ripping off
crazy,
what made
right?
the game so enjoyable in the first place? This is gormless. Who wants to sit there and learn all of these stupid specific actions just to do a single trick that takes 2 button presses in any other skating game? You
Oh,
can't
that's
snap
why.
onto the rails either. No, you have to
I'm
land
guessing
on them
they were trying to make
perfectly
it
while
different.
pressing the push button because
They
we've
thought
got
they
to be
could
realistic
improve.
in our skating game with edges of curbs that push you backwards and ragdoll physics. Hey, how are you doing? Okay, I hear the sirens coming. It's time to leave the level before the game turns into the police version of Doom. And I
There's a
lost
new Doom
anyway.
game
Cool.
coming out, isn't
Thanks
there?
again, Scab. And I'm really loving this noise
trying
that
his
won't
best.
stop repeating itself in the background. It sounds like someone's having a stroke, but not the bad kind. Skate and
What?
destroy. Where was the destruction?
Yeah, where was the destroy?
Oh, yeah. Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure.
They did it again! They
forgot
can't
to
keep
film
getting
anything
away
funny.
with this.
Okay, well, terrifying
On the
box art
GameCube?
aside, could
I used to
this
play,
really
like,
be
an
any worse than
ATV
Disney
game on the
Sports
GameCube.
Skateboarding? It did come out a year afterwards.
People know what I'm talking about.
Did they learn anything?
No.
Oh, what's this? Our
Toys
good
for Bob.
friends at
Okay.
Toys for Bob made
Okay,
a return.
okay.
Wasn't expecting that at all. And Tony Hawk's Raspberry Jam wasn't too bad, so maybe this one is actually good. Okay, wait a sec. Hang
Wait
on.
a
Did I
minute,
put
hold
a
up.
Disney game in here or Tony Hawk Jr.? Where are the cartoons? I mean, yeah, this kid kind of looks like Mickey Mouse, but this isn't Disney at all. So apparently when this game was being made, Disney themselves must have run a competition to get one real-life boy and one real-life girl to star as themselves in this game. And the winners of these skating tournaments were the deciding factor. That's pretty cool, I've got to be honest.
Yeah,
So why the
it's
hell
good
would I want
marketing.
to play as them when I can play as a wide gaping mouth Woody? Or
No,
how about Dead-Eye Buzz?
it's
Ripped
fine.
Simba,
Aw.
Inside Out Teeth Tarzan, or Drunk Pumbaa? What's my name this time? That's easy. Me. And this game is...
They can never
Actually,
predict
this game is
where
really
he's
damn
going
good.
with his
I'm
names.
stunned. A game
Except
with
for
this
Stab.
cover actually may be one of the best skating games I've ever played that isn't from Tony Hawk, and Woody Bailing looks hilarious. If you want to
I
play
love
an
the ragdoll.
explorative, mission-based collectathon skating game, but don't want Tony Hawk and want to skate around as a goddamn elephant, you play this. It even
Strong
caters
board.
to newcomers and young people with a special kid mode that gives you automatic grinds and special tricks just for pressing singular buttons. And then the pro mode is exactly like regular Tony Hawk with all the familiar button layouts and direction input
Sat
styles
on the
to make
board?
tricks happen. And I must stress for a second, if you make a skating game, copying Tony Hawk controls entirely is not a requirement and doesn't automatically make your game good. If you've got an original take,
His
I'm all
wings
for
come
it.
out?
But the thing is, the Tony Hawk control style is so simple to grasp and makes perfect sense for veterans or beginners. Whereas going too out of the box with something like Thrasher's Skate and Destroy with separate trick buttons and a push button, there's also a grind button, is so unintuitive, it's almost like you playing a driving game that swaps the left and right steer controls around. It's the same reason why most first-person shooters
What game
nowadays
is
use
this?
triggers to aim and fire and the right stick to move the camera. Tony Hawk
I don't know what
games
game
just
that
found
was.
the perfect style of control for this
He
kind
just
of
went through
skating
that,
game,
man.
and improving upon it isn't really possible if you ask me. Hence, Toys for Bob had the very wise idea to license and then utilize the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 engine to make this game. The point is, in this game, you get
okay.
to skate with your favorite Disney
That's-
character,
okay.
Birdie. The gameplay here is awesome.
No
You
wonder
complete
why
missions
it's a
by
good game.
exploring the massive levels and talking to all the characters who need
Oh, look
help
where you're going
while
there, elephant.
collecting objects hidden all around the area to get you better accustomed to the design of the game. As you finish missions, you unlock more skaters from each Disney movie series, more levels
A
from
bunch
each
of movies
Disney
I've
movie
never
series,
seen.
and more customization options for your very own creator skater, where you can end up making some nightmare creations. With my overhanging tummy and fat ankles squeezed into tiny boots, I look just like Honey Boo Boo. Oh, nice. You can make your kid wear a
No,
frock.
no,
All of a sudden,
there's no
Disney
way.
Gathering all these kids together doesn't sound so fun. Disney's
There's no
Extreme
way that's
Skate
actually what that
Adventure
is.
Fantastic.
Right?
I highly recommend
Right?
it.
Please
If you
tell
take
me.
a Tony Hawk game, remove the men being sick in toilets, and then slap Buzz Lightyear on it, you get this game.
And hey, while we're on the subject of Disney,
Movie collection. The Simpsons aren't Disney, are they?
Yeah, did you forget that Disney owned The Simpsons? I forget that
Owned
at least
or
once every
owned?
2 days. But I'll never forget the
What?
first time I played Simpsons Skateboarding on the PS2. Yes, once again, I'm revisiting another game from the vaults of my old horrible reviews. Like a cockroach after a nuke, my past always comes back to make me itch. What's
Oh,
this?
memory
No
card?
memory card?
Oh, what a shame.
those
I
days.
guess that means I can't play the game anymore. So thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I'll see you.
Memory
on the
card
next
comes out of
Caddicarus show,
nowhere.
Same time next week, where I'll be stomping on a kitten live on camera.
Well, hey, look at that. The first thing I see in this game is something
What?
that makes absolutely no sense. And the sad thing is that this still makes more sense than anything else you're about to see. The intro to this game is quite simply hideous.
I was half
One of the
expecting
worst
him to
I've
just, like,
ever
spit
seen.
a memory
It's
card
just
out of his mouth.
A barrage of colors
By the way.
and an onslaught of ugly edits enough to give you a seizure or make you feel like you're dying from leprosy. I mean, look at this. Come on. They couldn't even cut out the white in between Bart's armpit. And
Now,
then
that's
after possibly
just
the worst intro of all
lazy.
time, you get greeted to one of the worst opening themes
I
of
could
all
even
time
do
that
that.
either sounds like your CD is scratched or you're having convulsions.
We call that a jackhammer crash.
After this, well, this screenshot here should tell you all you need to know about the level of quality
That
we're
is
dealing with.
nightmare
Marge
fuel.
looking like a squid.
Well, how tall is
and
her
Homer
hair?
looking like a week old can of Spam. This is easily one of the
I
ugliest
also never
PS2
watched The
games
Simpsons.
ever made from
I
the start
watched
to the
Nostalgia
end.
Freaks
And then
video
you actually
on,
get
like,
going and think
Simpsons
to yourself,
episodes.
oh, you know, maybe I should try doing some tricks on the ground right now, like in every skateboarding game ever made.
Don't
But,
do it.
Oh no, you can't. Oh no. No joke, if you try to do something as simple as a kickflip, 75% of the time it won't work.
Why?
And you'll be eating some grass-covered din-dins instead. Once again, you've got to push yourself along with a forward push without automatic acceleration.
Is
from
this just
holding down the
mobility
Ollie button, taking all
by
the flow
skateboard?
momentum out of the gameplay. But I'd be able to get my head around this if the game let me push my board up slightly steep slopes, or let me get out of half-pipe bowls that I can't escape from. But you
'Cause
can't.
you can't go
This then
slope.
compounds with
Okay.
an absolutely pathetic ollie that sometimes flies you up to space and other times barely leaves the ground, meaning that you won't clear gaps, and sometimes you'll just accelerate from 0 to piss off in half a second. Absolutely nothing.
That was
works in this
electric
game.
vehicle
It's actually a
acceleration.
miracle how broken it is, as well as ugly. I mean, you look at that and tell me that's a person. That's not a person. It's a mound of beef. Don't forget the overly sensitive balance meter either.
What? How sensitive was
Or
that?
the fact that you have running commentary from your character and Kent Brockman throughout the entire game, and none of them ever shut up.
Oh no!
Kick flip. Come it.
Whoa!
Tail.
radical. Very well done.
The Donkey Kong.
Well done.
Sure, you could always argue that all these different characters have different stats that are better for different kinds of skateboarding tricks, but what I'm going to say in response to that is that Tony Hawk also has that system, but you're not absolutely incompetent at the start of the game. You can still do things, even if not as good as you will be able to later, but here, you can't do anything. I mean, look at this. Most of the time, you can't even grind anyway, and instead have the rail stick itself through your head.
That's happened to everybody, right?
Because I decided to give up after I got decked in the head by a car, and then another one.
That's a good time. And the cops.
And another one, and then Ken Brockman said,
Give it to me, baby.
while Lisa said for the 47th time, this is absolutely, categorically definitive garbage. The Bubsy 3D of sports games. Probably one of the worst ever made. Sure, Phoenix Games had this abomination 5 years after Simpsons Skateboarding, but that's
5 years
Phoenix
after?
Games. They probably put a blank disc into a sandwich toaster and then said,
Game's done.
What is a
Considering
sandwich
this is The
toaster?
Simpsons and sold at a much higher price than a Phoenix game ever would, I'm shocked that no one seemed to care if this game even worked.
Man, dude,
Oh,
everyone's
was that
trying to make a
harsh?
skateboarding
Was I a
game.
little bit mean? Did that hurt your feelings? You think that was a little bit too far? Have you played this thing?
No, I
don't
have
know
not. I
how
don't want to.
Anybody in the dev team tested this and thought
Did
it was
they actually,
passable.
though?
It's
Maybe they
borderline
weren't gamers.
impossible
I don't
to
know.
play. It's not even so bad, it's good. I don't feel any misguided passion or
You landed that one.
inflated egos behind the creation of this. All I feel is the bitterness of an entire team who didn't want to make this. Considering it was aimed at
That
kids as well,
would
who
make
probably
sense.
didn't know or care who a Tony Hawk was, it's probably the most cynical cash grab ever made.
Kids
for a
watching The
licensed game.
Simpsons?
It copies the Tony Hawk level design, Tony Hawk game structure, Tony Hawk mission style, and even Tony Hawk button layout, but butchers every other element up so magnificently, it makes me question why they didn't just do a full-blown rip-off of Tony Hawk entirely. Sure, it would have been unoriginal, but it would have been a good
copyright,
game. Look at
maybe?
this. If you even somehow manage to win a single thing in this game, all that satisfaction and frustration is spat back in your face as you only make
10
10
cents?
cents for it.
Huh?
10 cents for
I've had videos make less than that. A lot of videos make less than that.
10 cents for it. 10 cents for it.
10 whole cents.
Closest thing to crazy I have ever been. Wait, are you telling me that I'm going through all of this toss for a
quarter.
grand prize of $99?
Hey.
Are you insane? I use that kind of money to blow my nose and wipe it on homeless people, and you're expecting me to nearly die for that? $99? Shred
Dollars,
Springfield
not
with
pounds.
pleasure.
Shred. Oh, he's actually shredding the game. That was, I'm pretty sure, the actual.
Okay then, if a Tony Hawk
cover.
ripoff can't give me no satisfaction, then I'm gonna have to run back into the arms of the man himself.
Hi, Tony.
And what better way to go back to him than with Tony Hawk Ride on the Xbox 360.
Dude, I remember seeing these in stores.
Tony Hawk rode off.
So this game, this bloody game here, this 7th generation console classic, just so happened to be developed by Robo Modo, the same lovely chaps behind Tony
Yep.
Hawk's Pro Hate My Life 5. And immediately you must be asking yourself, why such a big
Because it gave you a
well, because
skateboard.
this entire game is controlled by this infernal thing.
Oh, buddy.
Oh yes, by using your body weight and these fancy sensors dotted all over
Are
the
they
board,
fancy?
this game expects you to have some tiny amount of skating ability before going into it, or at least the experience
Well,
of being
you know
able
what?
to
That's a
stand
pretty
and weight
good
shift on
leap.
the board.
I like
I'll
the
give credit
idea.
where it's due. This thing is solidly constructed. It's
You're
not
supposed to
that
stand on it.
flimsy. In fact, if you stuck trucks and wheels on it, you could feasibly skate on it. So, well done. Which also means I can smash it over and over again against a wall and it will never break.
Wow,
That's
after 10
very
years
val-
of games, I can
Now I'm getting another
finally
phone call.
ride
What in
Tony
the world is
Hawk.
going on?
And in order for you to see what the hell it is I'm experiencing, I decided to install this special Jim Jam cam so that you can get the best view of every angle once Tony Hawk gets ridden. So right off the bat, this game begins in the dumbest way I've ever seen. Why go to the effort of making a super
But
expensive
here's the thing.
experimental gaming
At this
peripheral
point,
and then put
they were really
controller
popular,
buttons
and
on
then
it,
people are like,
including a start button,
let's
only to
get
then tell me
them
that I need a
a-
controller to navigate the menus and hit the start button on that anyway. If we were going to do that,
Let's
why
get them
don't
a
we
little bit
just,
more ready for
I
actual
don't know, play the
skateboarding
game
by
with the
doing this.
controller?
It's the next
Skater
step.
just turned pro, and now look where we're at. This is a true Cinderella story. Just a few days ago, they were called up by P-Rod for a special mission in Southern
Oh,
California.
really? Paul Rodriguez?
Oh,
I knew him because
okay.
of shoes.
Is that it? That's
With-
our
with the
story? That
P-Rod
was terrible. What
dunks.
even was that? That explained nothing at all. Does Tony have scurvy?
What you have in your hands is one of the most advanced game controllers ever made.
Oh.
That might be actually be valid.
Here's my skater, and his name is Bungalow because his
Fair
hair
enough.
looks a bit like a thatched roof. Now, if you're a
It
little
does.
concerned about playing this because you've never touched a skateboard in your life, I really wouldn't worry. Firstly, because this thing doesn't slip, and you are not going to fly out the living room like...
You never know.
Secondly, because even if you have a little bit of experience, like me, you will not
I don't
make
have
this
any
game
experience.
work. I repeat, you will not make this game work.
So does it actually pick up that your
Oh sure,
foot
I
is
can
next
push
to
the
it?
board, I can manual, and I can certainly ollie, but
Is it
performing
too sensitive?
specific tricks is an utter nightmare.
Well, you can't
This
really
board
perform things
cannot
in the
rig
air,
the more
right?
subtle motions it needs to activate certain tricks. And so on this tutorial here, the first 3 minutes of the game, no matter how many damn tries I gave it attempting this trick here, it never, ever, ever worked. What
And
am
he
I
actually
doing
knows how to
wrong here? Am I
skateboard.
not riding you hard enough, Tone? And this is just for the
Ayo.
tutorial. Sometimes even things as basic as an ollie doesn't even register. For a game so focused on performing tricks and keeping balance at high speeds while jumping onto objects, the fact that this controller only lets you perform something as basic as a jump sometimes is enough of a reason why it's a piece of shit that should never have been released. If a new player has just as much chance
wasn't it
and luck
expensive,
performing
though?
a trick as somebody who put hundreds of hours into it, the game probably blows.
landed
And
that
taking
one.
that aside, the gameplay that you're treated with here can't be enjoyed, since you approach every single objective in exactly the same way. That being, you just trying to make a move happen. Forget combos, forget doing specific tricks over specific gaps or
training
anything.
wheels,
You're just trying
yes?
to do the
No?
basics from the start to the end. Mix that
It's
in
like
with some pretty
golfing
motion
on a golf
sickness-inducing
simulator.
graphics, and all the elements blend into a delicate mix of piss and vinegar.
You're joking.
Also,
I
never
don't
had
care
a
about
Whopper.
what fancy tech you have. I just want to spend my money on a game that works. And Tony Hawk Ride does not work. And even if you get it working, it's murder on your legs.
Could we even
Come on, this is a
recreate
video game
this
to play
these
for
days
fun,
and
not
make it
boot
work?
camp for the Navy.
We can sail the seven seas.
Look, I just got some of my highest scores and fanciest tricks just rocking the board in any direction I could. How is this fair? And check this out. I was able to get better and more consistent results by sitting down on the shitting thing. How is it that I can't do this? But by sitting on my stupid
You
ass,
can
I'm able
land.
to do
Is it
this.
because it feels the weight? Which, I mean, it's the same amount of weight whether or not, but I guess it's further back in the
fact, how could
board,
they even say
which I
this
think
is
it
the
might
most
be more
realistic
important.
skating game of all time, when Tony Hawk's own series already said that itself a few games ago in Project 8. So
Okay,
real, you
is
don't
that
just
actually
skate
something
it,
you can do?
Feel it.
Broken.
Yeah, happened again. I rambled on for a bit too long. But just let me ramble for a tiny bit longer, because I really need to wash the taste of Tony Hawk out of my mouth.
And I'm going to conclude this bone-breaking journey quickly talking about, in my opinion, the best skating games that are not Tony Hawk. The Skate trilogy. The
Oh,
thing that
I've heard
makes
of
the
Skate,
games
okay.
so brilliant is that they don't copy the Tony Hawk control style at all, but give you a control scheme that feels just as natural as Tony Hawk.
I don't think I played the
while at
Skate
same
games,
time
but I
being
remember
10
hearing
times
about
more
them.
difficult to get right, but 10 times more rewarding to nail once you do get it right. You want to know how these games work? Okay, you push the board with A, grab the board with your left hand with the left trigger, use the right trigger for your right hand,
Yeah?
and everything else is done with the analog sticks. Turning
Okay.
left and right, slowing down, and even pumping your body weight up and down ramps to build momentum is done with the left analog stick, while the right analog stick just has a bloody party with your thumb, as you need to pull it back and then flick it in certain directions to perform ollies and flip tricks. Depending on the
Wow,
direction
good
you
landing.
push or pull the right stick to ready a trick,
Caddy
and
is
depending
up.
on the shape your thumb makes the stick move as
Oh,
you flick
it's almost like,
that's how you perform tricks. And
pitching
some of the more
in
impressive
MLB The
tricks
Show.
do feel incredible to pull off
Well,
once you get the hang of it.
is it
especially when
pinpoint?
building
Is
it
that what
into
it's called?
a combo. Oh, and you also push the right stick forward halfway or pull it back halfway and hold it to stay in manuals, which, if your thumb is very precise, can also be linked into more combos. You even need to angle yourself correctly and apply the correct amount of speed to your stick flicking in order to correctly land on rails.
It
to
looks like it's
grind
made with a
without
good
jumping
engine,
too
too.
high or too low. But because the physics feel so grounded and the speed realistic, it feels way more natural here than the insanity
Wow,
in Tony
that's
Hawk,
a terrible
which needs to
fall.
make you snap onto the rails or else you'll overshoot every grind in the whole game. The Skate trilogy takes what is, on paper, one of the most player-unfriendly and insane control styles for a sports game of all time, and manages to weave the impossible into a ruthlessly challenging,
Which it could have
yet
been really bad,
unbelievably rewarding
but it
series
wasn't.
of games, and I love them. You get brilliant career modes, incredible soundtracks, some of the deepest customization in a skating game, real-time replay editing with multiple camera angles
That's
and
sick.
effects, tons of stuff to unlock, and the main gameplay
Cars
features and
unbothered
control
by
styles
this?
kept getting more refined in each game.
The
Up
police.
until Skate 3, where in my opinion it kind of implodes on itself. I mean, I do love the improved camera in that game, but Oh,
What's that?
No good. Skate 2 is probably my favorite from the trilogy, though. 1 is a great time.
That's a sick
but
cover.
definitely feels like the first game in comparison to Skate 2.
Two
In that game,
skateboards.
there's way more to do. It looks beautiful for the Xbox 360, runs at a consistent 60 FPS, and it feels much tighter to play and less loose than the first game. Your board felt like an extension to yourself more than an unwieldy beast that did whatever it wanted.
Just
Not
ran
to
into a
mention, this game
fence.
gave you the ability to get off your board and walk
Where'd that
around
board just
when
come
you
from?
couldn't skate to certain areas, and you could fail tricks by just tripping over and losing the board instead of falling flat on your face every single time like in Skate 1. Oh, and how about those multiplayer modes for the party games? Hall of Meat! Oh, Hall of Meat, I'm looking
What does that
right
even
at
mean?
you. A local multiplayer mode dedicated to you trying to deliberately outperform your partner in the most painful and insane fails you can while jumping off of ramps the size of skyscrapers. You can't not love this feature.
T-pose.
Skate 3 is a good game, I guess. It's basically more of Skate 2 with a few added bells and whistles, but it ended up taking away a few other things, and it's glitchy up the
6
hole.
million
I'm sure
views.
you've all seen enough glitch compilations on YouTube.
I've
to know
not
that
seen
little
any of
tidbit.
them.
Yeah, Skate 3 has the park editor and the X-ray feature when you break a bone after a
Oh!
fail, but the local multiplayer
Really?
is piss compared to 2. And again, this stuff kind of gets in the way for me. Look
Just
at the
imagine,
AI in
dude.
Skate 3. It's practically suicidal. No
right
other
into the
skate game
person,
I
which is
played had
pretty
other skaters
realistic,
interrupting my
honestly.
tricks more than in Skate 3, or random pedestrians just standing around questioning the meaning of their existence. For me, no other skating
jumping
games
in
feel as
your
much
way.
like you're climbing up the ranks in career mode as the skate games. Not only because the missions mirror real life much more, unlike Tony Hawk's arcadey silliness, but because the open world here feels as close to a regular location as you would see in real life. Yet, everything has been carefully
Wonder if they're
designed to
actually
be
designed after a
skateable,
real
and the
place.
speed that you can reach is extremely cathartic. Everything here feels so down to earth, chilled out, and because of that, all the more satisfying as you impress magazines, perform for photo shoots, and edit the
kinda
pics
cool.
yourself, and then get sponsors as you climb up to being a pro.
Oh!
The most
Well,
recent
and that's
Skate game
over.
came out in 2010, 10
Wow.
years ago. Christ, thanks EA.
Piss off everyone.
That was 10 years
But
ago?
if you don't want
That's
to
now
dust off
15
your old
years ago.
PS3 or Xbox 360 to try these out again, don't worry, because I managed to find 2 games on Steam made by indie devs who are trying to carry on the legacy left behind by Skate. Session and Skater XL.
Now don't worry, this won't take me too long to discuss, because Skater XL is a decent attempt at the skate formula.
So it
while
was the
standing
most
out with a unique left foot on
recent
the left stick and right foot on the right
major
stick system.
release
But it costs
outside of these.
way too much money for a game that doesn't have any real meaty content to it. And Session is in early access, which is
It's
all I
probably
need to say
finished now.
about it, because hot damn does it feel like it's in early access. That, and I just can't get my head around these controls. You fall off of your board so much as a gust of wind breathes on you, and this tutorial
I like
here
the
is
trunks
arguably
moving
more
like that,
difficult
though.
than standing up.
Oh my.
Like, you hold the right stick down or the left stick forward to bend down, then flick the left stick or the right stick to pop up the board the opposite direction, and you can't grind on a rail unless you push both of the sticks in opposite directions and hold them while
Oh,
you're
look at
landing
that.
on the rail. I can't. I appreciate the effort here, but my fingers
Ugh.
can't bend backwards. And I would love to check out this new game called Deck Splash, but that ended up being cancelled.
Why?
Which I'm happy about, because that sounds too much like Dick Splash, so I'm gonna go back
Okay.
to skate.
Nice handstand.
Hey, wanna see a trick? That wasn't me.
I was about to
And now
say.
we're at the end. The thing is, guys, there's only so many different ways I can tell you
Does
how
he
a
actually skate,
skateboarding
though?
game
Like,
plays,
in this
because
video?
They all really set out to accomplish the same thing. So, I'm gonna go while
Actually
doing
skateboard.
the coolest trick that I am capable of doing. Bye.
What is that gonna be? Riding 2 of them. Okay, I have Heelys, so I just do that instead. It's honestly impressive that he's able to actually go forward with that. Or maybe he's actually on a decline.
Subscribe and hit that bell.
Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, or I'll shove a skateboard right up your...
Special
Please
thank you to
don't,
my
Stan.
executive producers on my Patreon page in the description below. Trepidanos,
Dude.
Damien Castaway, Inflim, The Classy One, Card.
Yeah, shout out to people watching
Jason
this on
Bungo,
Saturday,
Michael
by the way.
O'Donnell, Kenneth D, Ethan
I'll be
Spencer,
finishing
Lizzie
Devil May Cry
Lizzie,
5
Lizzie,
today.
Heartfire, Abyss
On-
Wraith,
on
Matthew
stream.
Gunthorpe, Kyle Burke,
And then
Greg
next
John,
Saturday,
Richard
maybe
Howard,
I'm
Steve
starting
LeBlanc, Matthew Heineman, Iron Ninja, Steve the Weed,
Crash Bandicoot?
Daniel and Alex, X Shadowhunter ZX, Red Eyed Critic, Skullman, TARDIS
I
Type
don't know.
40, The Game Shed, Ramen Wolf 1485, Slow Pond,
Could be that,
Mitchell
could be a
Reed,
different one. I
Adrian
think it might be
Smith,
good.
Anders Amdel,
That's a good
Nightshade
idea.
96, and Basil.
Stan. Leggy boy.
Aww. He kind of tilted his head. Stan approves. The Awful World of Skateboarding Games, which has 300,000 less views than the Painful World of Lego Games, which is kind of crazy. I have more experience with skateboarding games than Lego games, even though Lego games are far more popular. Yeah, I'm sure some of you probably have quite a lot of memories of this. I remember when skateboarding was like the coolest thing in the world. I remember my brother's like, My brother's favorite guy, I forget what his name was, but he did like, he was like known for doing this like dark side trick or something like that, where he like flipped the board over and like grinded on the grip tape side instead of like a 50-50, I think is what it's called. Like I said, I don't skateboard, but instead of like grinding like between the two trunks, like front trunk, back trunk, and the rail and that, he flipped the board over and put his feet where the wheels are kind of, and grinded on the grip tape. Which, I don't know who that guy was, if there was any guy that was, like, known for that. That was who my brother always played as. I didn't really know anybody, so I just kind of, like, picked whoever was coolest, because I was very, very young at the time. But this was a very interesting video. I look forward to the next one. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully it made your day tiny little bit better. I hope you're subscribed so you don't miss future videos. And like I said, I do read our comments, whether you're a patron or not, whether you're subscribed or not. And patrons get all the videos a day early. But until the next video, take care, and cue the music.
We're playing as soldiers, making swords.